Welcome to a Donger deck discussion by your host here, Seth Holocron. From the Dongers of Runeterra, we make brand new decks with brand new cards. And by we, I do mean me, saying this. I seem to be the only person really putting out content at the minute, apart from our master streamer on Twitch. I'm so humble. But that's all good, because we're content creators and we do things in different ways, and both are equally good. So I have made a lot of decks with all the new champions between Zoe and Riven, and who else have we got? Brain farting time. It is definitely having Victor and all that sort of stuff. But then I did one, which is this one, based around a landmark, because I love landmarks. I think they're all fun and games. And it's Aesol Trundle, Trendemere, and Targon's Peak. Fun as hell deck. Which then got me going, you love Demacia. So, it's Christmas. Die Hard, I don't care what you say. Die Hard is a Christmas movie. It's on Christmas Eve. It's a Christmas party on Christmas Eve. There are Christmas trees. Die Hard is a Christmas movie. It's its place in Nakatomi Plaza. Demacia has a plaza. Brand new landmark. It's called Die Hard Plaza. Let's go. And we will show you exactly what this deck does. So, not a lot different from any other Leona deck with Lux. So, that was quite a good sort of tier 1 deck. Challenger is a good thing to have, in my opinion. And here is the new thing. Looking very Lord of the Ringsy here. Very White City. There's Tiana looking out over everything, not giving shields and all that sort of malark. But it's a landmark, so, it can only be destroyed by spells. So, when you summon an ally, you give it 1/1 and Challenger this round. Now, Demacia has had the Elites deck, where you put in... In fact, let me show you the Elites deck before we even go into here, because it's still one of my favourite decks to play. So it's just Garen. He's the only champion in the deck. When you strike him twice, he regenerates and then he rallies. And everything is based around that card, which is when you summon an elite, you grant it 1/1. Now, that is brilliant for 2. You get a 2/2 unit. But everything then gets bumped up and you run 3 of them. So that's pretty cool. Die Hard Plaza is going to run 3 of the actual plaza. Okay. 3 is very cheap. And it gives 1/1, just like the Battlesmith does, but it gives you Challenger this round, which is really damn good when you summon it. So you give it 1/1 and Challenger this round. It's fun. So I looked at Lux, because I love Lux. I think she's a fantastic champion. And Leona, who is another fantastic champion, and there was a really good tier 1 deck with these 2 in it. Subsequently, we have suddenly found that the Challenger thing's actually really, really good if you combine it with the right kind of things. So we're going to go the Solari thing again. It is not that much different from the Lux Leona thing before. So we're going for Daybreak with Leona. He's shimmering away down here. So the Soldier, the Shield Bearer, and the Priestess gives you an Invoke, +4 health, +1/1, all decent. And then we're into Spell Thief, which is a brand new spell from this patch, from patch 116. Pick 1 of 3 enemy spells played in this game and create a copy in hand. And I can't decide if this is absolutely brilliant or absolutely trash. I think it's really good that you can steal something that can win you the game if you've got enough, especially if you're up against big Lee Sin, Ezreal decks that are running an awful lot of spells. Even Victor with his augments, and Riven with all her fragmentations, you can get stuff that will help in some way to be able to create a copy of it. Plus, if they've played at least 3, you're going to get to choose which one's good for you. So we're going to go for 2 of that. We're going to go for 1 Guiding Touch, Healing LA, your Nexus 2, and draw a card. 2 Hush, Silence, and Lucian. when he's about the level is just hilarious. Silencing Fiora is hilarious. Silencing Soraka is hilarious. Tarek is hilarious. Anything that can give lifesteal, just silence it this round. Again, we're only running 2 ofs. And then the wonderful Cascade of Paleness that gives you 2-1. And if you play it second, you get to draw a card. So as you can see, it's quite a slow thing. So we're going for the Daybreak opening. We ideally want Solari Soldier, Solari Shield Bearer, and Solari Priestess to get yourself sorted. And then, in an ideal world, you want Grand Plaza, and then you want Leona, and then you can absolutely start going to town. Because this has got real legs. Like, real. It has a chance of being equally as good, if not even better, than the original Leona Lux, and that's saying something. Don't forget that Lux needs to do like a 6-cost mana spell to level up, and then you get Final Spark. So let's go through the rest of it. We're in Demacia, and unfortunately I can't find room for 3 more because we're going for so many things to try and spread out what we actually need to do. Single combat we're running 2 of. Because you absolutely have to have it. It's too good not to run. The fact that you get a 4, 5, or a 6 from the Solari Priestess, although admittedly her stats are poop, but player first, get your Daybreak and be all kind of grand. Speaking of grand, there's the Grand Plaza. Kind of fits in there that you can only on 3 play either the Priestess or the Grand Plaza. It's just how it happens to be. Do you know what I mean? But then when you summon an ally, you give it 1/1 and challenge her this round. So say, for instance, you don't have the Priestess and you put down Grand Plaza. If on round 4, you can go for either of these, because we're going for the actual, it used to be a trifecta, now it's a quad, because we have another Solari. So I'm testing it out. It's a new card. It's great. Which is pretty decent. But if you've got Plaza out and then put down Leona, she becomes a 4/6 with Challenger for the round, so you can ping something off, especially if she's like stunned the strongest enemy. And if it's not that strong, it's going to do too much. Leona can really go to town. And then as we kind of move up into the top end of the deck and into the mid game, you get to see the Solari Sunforger. That's great art. I love all the Daybreak cards. They're just so full of like Ibiza, beautiful sunshine. It's like Florida. It's certainly not like Belfast at the minute, where it's just disgusting. Daybreak, brand new card, 5/4, amazingly well statted. And if you think about it, if you reverse these and go into Demacia and think of Radiant Guardian, yes, you get lifesteal. You also get tough, but it costs 5. This costs 4. You reverse the stat lines round and you get lifesteal for 1 round. It's a beefy damn unit. It's a really good beefy damn unit, and I really think that to be able to put up 5 straight back to your Nexus is fantastic, and we only really have Guiding Touch for the 2 as just a 1-of. I mean, we could take that away and go for 3 single combats or 3 hushes or 3 spell thieves if we want. And to be honest, I would probably go for the spell thief if the meta turns out to be spell heavy. If not, I will definitely be going for single combat as a 3-of. Also considerations to make Concerted Strike a 2-of, but we will keep going. So Plaza, great. Solari Sunforger, I think, is fantastic. It's a really good addition to the Targon Armory. Let's go up here. As you see, I don't like to put any more than 16 spells in a deck. 21 units, including the 6 champs and 3 landmarks, because, hey, it's a landmark deck, right? So let's keep going on. Concerted Strike, we're only running 1 of. Now, there's several reasons for this. Number 1, it costs 5 mana. That's the same as a Raven. I'd much rather play Raven than Concerted Strike, even though Concerted Strike is absolutely fabulous. But for that one time where your Raven or your Lux or something can combine to kill the biggest threat on the board, it's really good. I don't particularly like running 1s of. So there is, as I say, yes, you would lose the card draw. You can heal an ally. Your Nexus 2 is great, but we have an awful lot of 2s in here. Maybe dropping the Guiding Touch to the concerted strike in an attempt to help level Lux could be fantastic. But if we don't start with the Solaris, we don't get any of these whatsoever, then what are we going to do? Well, then we're in a little bit of trouble, because Solaris the only unit. That's the only unit, and that's the only units that we have for the first 3 rounds. So what happens if we don't get them? Well, we will come to, well, in fact, we'll just do it now. An awful lot of Lux decks want round 3, and in round 3, you can Remembrance with your 3 mana that you've banked, and the 3 mana you get from the start of the round, and you will get a random 5-cost follower from Demacia. So if we go down here, and now we've got all the new sort of cards. Let's get into this. You can have a Fused Firebrand with Fury and Spell Shield. You can have the Scout 5/5. You can have a Radiant Guardian, Lifesteal and Tough for 5. You can have the Screeching Dragon. Sorry, you can't have that one because that's Targon. Screeching Dragon, Challenger, and Fury, which is pretty good. And then there's a Swift Wing Lancer, which is excellent. Challenger, 5/4. When it dies, you get a random elite in hand, and elites are great. And the last one would be Vanguard Cavalry, all 5/5. So you're kind of seeing 5s across the board in Demacia, health-wise or attack-wise, depending on what way it's going. No, there is a 5/5. So, you know, you're getting some good stuff in there. So you're going to get a unit that'll probably stick around for a while. So maybe you want to wait, play turn 3 Remembrance, see what you can get in between rounds 1, 2, 3, 4, and then into 4 and 5, and start actually dropping some units down. Raven, fantastic to go with Leona, because once you get Leona down, regardless of whether you get the Grand Plaza or not, you know, she summons, you've activated Daybreak 4 times, and every single time you go down and do something, she's class. And don't forget that this is her, you know, pull another one which is on the board. You get Morning Light, play it first, and it activates all allied Daybreak effects at once. If you can get Raven down, you're now stunning twice. You're getting more Daybreak cards. You're getting absolutely everything to keep this going. And Daybreak just gets out of control and stuns everything left, right, and center. And Raven also being a 5/5 that creates a non-champion Daybreak card in hand, of which there are now plenty. So if I go in here and type in Daybreak, we've got all the units that we can get. So these are all grayed out. So you can get Zenith Blades, Morning Lights, the Eclipse Dragon, Sunburst, and Sun Guardian. Now, we are running 2 Sunbursts in this deck for the simple reason that it's a spell that costs 6 to help level up Lux. Now, remember, Lux comes down and she's barriered up. If you have Grand Plaza, you get 1/1 and Challenger. Now, if you think about all this sort of stuff, that once you get this beautiful thing down, everything now becomes a 1/1 with Challenger. So that becomes a 3/3, which is what its level is. This becomes a 4/3. That becomes a 2/3. Leona becomes a 4/6. That becomes a 6/5. That becomes a 6/6. Lux becomes a 5/6. And all of a sudden, all of these, each round, get that bonus and Challenger to ruin whatever game plan that you're trying to play as the opponent into this deck. Now, I've tested this out, and it is fun. But number 1, you've got to like Demacia. And number 2, you've got to know when and where and how, which unit do you want to put down. There is no point putting the Solari Priestess down if you've got the Grand Plaza down. If even with her buff and the Challenger, she's just going to die and not kill something. So sometimes using a spell or even just chilling on round 5 is better than putting it down and losing that ability altogether. It is not like Battlesmith. It does not play on curve as much as the elites, but you will be going on curve, and you can. You can go Soldier, Shieldbreaker, Priestess, Leona, Raven, Lux, drop down Plaza, and every single thing that you put down next will then get all the sort of stuff that you need. Raven is brilliant because of the stats. The Solari Sunforger is really good because of its stats. And the Shield Bearer is really good with its stats at a 4-3 with Challenger. That's brilliant. But the fact that if you put this down as your thing, he becomes a 3-6 and then becomes a 4-7. Okay? The Solari Soldier will become a 3-3 and then get another 1-1 and Challenger and is now a 4-4. So don't forget that anything that is getting a buff, you get the buff on top of it as well from the Grand Plaza. So this is my Demacia Targon kind of deck, and I think it's quite interesting. So I'll put the deck code in the pinned comments and free invites to all our social medias, and most importantly, the Dongers of Runeterra Discord. Come and join us. We're getting tons of brand new people in there, all being most welcomed, because it's just a fun place to be and talk about this game. And then there's plenty of other things we talk about as well. We talk about sport and music and God knows what else. My name is Seth Holocron. I am from the Dongers of Runeterra. This was a Donger deck discussion revolving around Die Hard Plaza. Copy the deck code, stick it in the client, and see how you get on. Thanks for watching. Till the next one. Dongers out.